Boom, boom. Nah. Cosmic Mind UV. You with it, huh? Abundance, abundance, peace, and abundance. Royal Day. We're gonna let the wide, we're gonna let the players play in every single mother way. We got breaking black family generational curses. You know what I'm saying? With Empress Star should take you far no matter where you are. Let me go ahead and share this out, and we gonna see what it's all about. Alright? Let's take flight.
You know who it is. It's Empress Star. I'm here to take you far. Today we have a good topic. We're talking about generational curses, what it is, and how it relates to the Black community. All right, so generational curses in context of Black community refers to repeating patterns of trauma, excuse me, dysfunction, and struggle. Excuse me. I'm going to start that over. Generational curses in the context of the Black community refers to repeating patterns of trauma, dysfunction, and struggle passed down through generations. So there's patterns of trauma, dysfunction, and struggle that have been passed down from generation to generation, often rooted in historical oppression, systematic racism, and internalized pain. These curses are not literal magic, but symbolic of deep psychological, emotional, economic, and spiritual cycles that are hard to break without conscious healing and action. Root causes in the Black community for generational curses is slavery and colonialism, forced separation of families, stripped cultural identity, and spiritual systems. Trauma imprinted in both body and mind, the Jim Crow institution, and the institutional racism. Limited access to education, wealth, and land, legalized discrimination, and mass incarceration. Cycles of poverty and generational disadvantage. The war on drugs and mass incarceration has targeted Black men and broke up families, left many Black children fatherless, normalized criminalization and surveillance. Internalized the disconnection from African history, legacy, and divinity. So, because of the generational curses, we really don't know who we are. Um, we don't know who we are because of the Eurocentric beauty and value standards. A lot of times, because of the Eurocentric mindset, it gives you low self-worth that has been passed down through generations. A couple common curses that are in the Black community is poverty, which is economic struggle due to lack of generational wealth or financial literacy. Broken families, absentee of fathers, our mothers, absentee of parents have been normalized. Similar single parent households are normal, which leads to family dysfunction. Emotional suppression. So, how are these generational curses affecting the Black community? You have strained generational relationships with your grandparents, parents, and children. Children may be disconnected. So a lot of times when we see us not working together, that's because of the generational curses that have been levied against us. You know, the generational curses of, let's just use Black Wall Street for an example. When we were working together, other races came in and they bombed it and, just destroyed anytime we put any effort and energy into something and we were starting to be great at it, they destroyed it. So them just continuously coming against us with the colonialism, it helped us to disconnect from each other and start working more and more against each other. So it just became normal to not work with each other. So now we're trying to work with each other, trying to put that energy back into place, but it's hard because we have to break the generational curses that has been levied against us and do better. And one thing that we have to really work on is the cycles of poverty. Lacking financial knowledge or inherited debt, no family property, trust funds, or safety nets. We don't have, a lot of us don't have anything to help financially help our generations to come. And it doesn't even have to be wealth. You can pass down the financial literacy, and then they can pick it up and pass down some land, so they can work the land and can build the land and be able to create jobs so they can afford to practice nepotism. It's just small things. We can all do our part, and excuse me, as we just continue to break these generational curses, because if we're not healed, if we don't heal the trauma of what is continuously holding us and the bloodline down, then we can't move forward and start to build and grow and work together. We need to work together so that we can get back on top. It's our time to rise. The sun is the sun era, and we are the sun people. So come on, let's get back into our greatness, into our divinity. All right, so oh yeah. I forgot. On Monday is going to be the first show of my sacred space. We're going to be talking the sacred womb. I'd like to just thank you all for coming and hanging out with me on Moon Day, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be a great time. All right, let's get back to breaking these chains. Emotional suppression, which is emotional detachment, rage, or depression. It becomes normalized. We don't deal with the issues or emotional issues that come up because it's a one-parent household. Children, our star seeds, usually grow up emoted because the parent have to go outside of the home and work hard to, pay all the bills and keep the family afloat, etc., etc., etc. So maybe the child has older siblings, and the siblings are taking care of them, which they're really probably not. Just having them sit down in front of a tablet or a television or something. So the screen is, in essence, right, a lot of the reason why the youth is so messed up right now, because of so much screen time. A lot of children don't even go outside like we used to when we were younger. Just be outside to be outside, playing in dirt, having fun, running around. Now they just have a screen, or if they are outside sitting with the screen, still not still disconnected from nature, disconnected from the Mother Earth, just the essence of being outdoors, getting that natural air flowing through your lungs, etc., etc. So this cycle of a single parent, when the children see the mother or father coming up as a single parent, they usually repeat that cycle of dysfunction. and a lot of repeating cycles of dysfunction in the Black community is abuse, neglect, some form of addiction. It doesn't have to be drugs. It can be food. It can be people pleasing. It can be, anything that you're doing too much of that is a detriment, or anything that you're doing too much of that is not helping you or helping you progress. And even you can be addicted to going to work. Um, yeah, and also because of these traumas that we need to heal, we a lot of times just go into unhealthy survival patterns that get passed off as tradition. Um, and yeah, no, good for you. If a tradition is negative, or if a tradition isn't helping you to move forward, then you shouldn't you do that tradition. And I'm talking about the lack tradition, the poverty tradition, the generational curses traditions, the things that are holding you back, holding on to unnecessary pain, unnecessary drama, or feeding into unnecessary pain, reliving the pain, reliving the drama, reliving the trauma. You have to heal the trauma. You can't trauma bonding. We have to get more serious about these generational curses, because with the generational curses, it's a weak spot in your spirit. So the lifetime is not just about you. It's about healing your generational bloodline, to cleanse that, to help purify that. So if your armor isn't completely sharpened up, it'll have little cracks in it. Little negative entities could try to slip in and slither in, and just wreak havoc on what you got going on. So we should all go within and understand the generational curses, so that we can start to break them. I know that we've lived in this wretched world for so long and want change so bad. But if we're not willing to do the work to receive that change, then we're just going to be talking. And we've talked long enough. Our ancestors are, you see what's going on around us. You see how things are being flooded. It's time for us to wake up and use that energy. And some of you can be like, well, it's not all natural. They do the weather manipulation. Okay. But it's still the waters. Our ancestors are still in the waters. If our ancestors still the powers that were, would not have that energy, or that the means to flood out areas. You know what I'm saying? Our ancestors are telling us to wake up. Even if you go by the scriptures, it says in the end times it'll be the earth will rumble, and earthquakes, and the waters will do all this madness, and the continents will shift and everything else. So what is going on right now? What's going on? So if all of that is going on, we need to go within and heal whatever needs to be healed, so we can be a part of the revolution. Just simple as that. It's time out for the talking. We've talked long enough. It's time out for everybody being so soft and wimpy. It's time to put on the armor, find the guides, the warrior gods and the warrior goddesses inside of you. And it's time for us to go head to head, toe to toe, take our rightful places, break these generational curses. So, all of this, the unhealthy survival skills that's been passed down as tradition, is just leading to us distrusting each other, distrust between black melanated men and black melanated copper tone indigenous women. It makes us distrust each other because of the generational wounds from fractured relationships, cultural divisions, and gender roles, submission, and leadership in the home. So, without proper balance, with a broken home, our melanated men and women don't even know how to get along. In essence, that's what they're saying. You know, it is sometimes it's a breakdown somewhere, and that's because of the generational curses that are levied against us. The generational curses give us limited vision for the future. Generations feel stuck, uninspired, and hopeless. So we wonder why the generations right now are acting like super crazy off. You know, what they used to say back in the day, don't have any home training. You know, just out here wilding out, doing whatever to whoever, not even caring. That's because of the curse of us not doing the work. The whole generation is stuck, uninspired, and hopeless. Dreams feel unrealistic due to deep rooted limitations because of the trauma that we haven't healed. It's rooted deep, 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 deep. And you know, roots on a tree can go for miles and miles and miles and miles. So just imagine the generations that of, let's just say, alcohol. You have a generational curse of alcoholism in your family. Just think about how many generations dealt with alcohol. This generation, that generation, that generation, that generation, that generation, that generation before that, the generation before that, 5 generations before that. Think about how deep that root is. Now think about something a little more emotional, such as rape. Let's just say molest family, and nobody talks about it for generations, generation. The trauma of the womb, you know, that generational trauma against the womb. You know, you have to break that. That's why, you know, you don't have any motivation to follow your dreams, no motivations to, or you don't come up with the ideas that's going to help push you into the next round where you can work for yourself, open your own business, because your creativity is blocked, because the womb is full of creativity. The womb is life. The womb births life. So if it's attacked with generations of pollution, you have to clean that up. And that goes with everything, all the generational curses that have been levied against the black community. You know, it's not just the family now, it's a we thing. You know, we have to start working for us so that we can rise as one, rise into power. And for those who are not going to be a part of the revolution, just get out of our way. Do what you want to do, but can you do it in silence? Like, go and take that negative energy and go somewhere else. Go with white massa. You know, go follow your white Jesus. And even if you're trying to infiltrate the quote unquote woke community, why are you doing that? What's the point? Like, everybody has a choice. So you knowledge, but you rather choose to be an op instead of helping your people. you're a colonizer, and when it comes to people like that, we have to really use our eyes of discernment. You know, don't continue to just let people pull the wool over your eyes, or be so love and light or so trusting that you get taken advantage of, especially emotionally. You can get that money, but working on them emotions is gonna take a whole lot. So just appreciate yourself more and love yourself more, to be able to hear that voice, that's that small voice that's letting you know to be aware of certain people out here. So what does breaking generational curses mean? It means healing through therapy, community support, and spiritual alignment, reclaiming Black identity, love, and wholeness, building wealth, redefining family roles, and choosing conscious parenting, having honest conversations across generations. So, how can we become more aware of them, aware of the generational curses, and how can we begin to break the cycle? Becoming aware of generational curses and breaking the cycle, especially in the Black community, requires honest self reflection. Honest self reflection. Take a deep inventory of yourself, take a deep inventory of your family, take a deep inventory of, things you may start and stop, like your habits, your ideas, like a really go just deep dive into you and reflect. Write it down, journal it out, write it out, so you can start to see where and what and how these generational curses are in your life. Cultural reconnection. Yeah, we need to get back to spirit, get back to just learning African history, African arts. Just learn something African and not this colonized stuff over here. We've been so colonized. It's ridiculous. We need some cultural identity, and intentional healing. These cycles were created over centuries, but they can be broken through knowledge, discipline, and love. Step one would be awareness. The awareness on how to recognize generational curses. You can't break what you don't recognize. Ask yourself, is poverty or financial struggle a common thing? And this is a reflection on patterns in your family. Are there cycles of absent fathers or broken relationships? Has there been substance abuse, violence, or mental illness passed down? Do you or your family suppress emotions or avoid conflict? Is there a problem of settling for less, fear of success, or self-sabotage? That'll just make you aware of the things, of the curses that may be levied against your bloodline. You need to relearn your history. Study African history or Black history, indigenous melanated history beyond slavery. Reconnect with African traditions, values, and healing methods. Understand how systematic oppression shaped your family's behavior. Listen to the elders that are knowledgeable, the elders that are the true elders, not the ones that's just elders because of age. Observe them, even if they don't say it directly. Listen between the lines. What normalized in their generation? Ask questions like, "How were you raised?" or "What did you wish you had growing up?" Hit step two of breaking the cycle. You healing emotionally and spiritually. Go to therapy. Therapy. Normalize going to therapy or talking to a counselor, individual or family based. There's also music therapy, sound therapy, sun therapy, um, nature therapy. You know, you can go talk to a tree. You know, if you can't go talk to one of them counselors, the trees are the watchers, they're the listeners. They want you to come to them, they want you to talk to them. Instead of you just dumping on people, you can dump on the tree, and the tree will give you, it'll recycle that energy. It'll give you positive energy. You giving that negative out, it's going to give you the positive energy. So recycle the energy. You don't even have to dump on your husband or your wife all the time. You know, dump on that tree, because your husband or your wife already got things that they worried about. All right, we say we love them. Let's show them that we love them. Okay, yeah, I know they're supposed to be there for you, and you're supposed to say anything, be able to talk to them, yada yada, etc., etc. Yes, but a person get tired of you always dumping on them all the time, all the time. Woe is me all the time. Negative, negative, negative all the time. No, no. Go to a tree. The tree is waiting on you to come and and you know get that negative energy. Journal, of course. Journal is good. Journaling is good for everything. Or inner child work. Address, wounds from your childhood. Address the things that happened to you when you were a child, and reflect on it. See if it is a reflection of things that had been happening or has happened in your family line. Pick up spiritual practices such as meditation, prayer, ancestral veneration, grounding, or African spirituality to reconnect. You need a big financial education and economic shift. Learn budgeting, credit repair, saving, investing, and entrepreneurship. Break poverty mindsets. Break poverty mindsets. Break poverty mindsets that say things like, "We don't do that," or "That's not for us," because it's all for us. We need to teach our star seeds. We need to teach our children how money works. This is a really big one. We need to rebuild the Black melanated indigenous family and relationships so that we know how to work with each other emotionally, mentally, be there spiritually, physically, and emotionally. We should choose conscious partners, break toxic dating habits, and build emotionally healthy relationships. We need to heal the war between Black men and women, practice accountability and communication. We need our seeds, and choose intentional parenting, not beating like grandma did, because that's how we were raised. Education and reconnection. We need to reconnect with our African spiritual, cultural, and intellectual roots. We should teach our seeds their real history and identify beyond American school systems. Speak the truth in the family. Break the silence. We need to talk openly about abuse, trauma, financial decisions, or toxic traditions. Be brave enough to name the curse and be the cycle breaker. All right, so here are a few Key mindsets to embrace. Mindset: I am not what happened to me. And why does that matter? You can be the generation that transforms anything. The mindset of my healing heals my bloodline. Why that matters? Because your children and their children benefit from your growth. The mindset: tradition is always truth. That matters because it's familiar. Just because it's familiar doesn't mean it's healthy. Let me say that again. Tradition is not always truth. Why does that matter? Just because it's familiar doesn't mean it's healthy. And that goes with so much more than just tradition. Think about a few points in your life, it was just fun, but you know it wasn't healthy for you. All right, that's how you break generational curses. Even though it's fun, it's not healthy, and you see that it's been going on in your family, you stop that. All right, grasping the mindset of I forgive, but I will not repeat. Why that matters? Forgiveness clears the weight, but awareness keeps you from repeating the cycle. I forgive, but I will not repeat. Forgiveness clears the weight, but awareness keeps you from breaking the cycle. So breaking generational curses is revolutionary in a system built to destroy Black melanated indigenous copper tone identity, families and cultures, futures. Choosing how to heal, love, build and grow is a radical act of resistance and restoration. So all right. Okay. All right, so I'm about to pass it right on to Cosmic Mind UV. I like to just remind you about Sacred Space on Monday, 9:30. We're going to be talking about healing the womb, sacred womb. We're going to be reading out of that book and talking about that book. We're going to enter, under, and overstand everything that the book has to say to us. Thank you.
All right. All right. What we got? Hold on. All right. What we got? To understand, not just understand or overstand, when you're breaking generational curses means you're not just seeing or analyzing the change, you're feeling it in your spirit, living it through alignment, and knowing it on a soul level. Understanding is deep, intuitive knowing, not thinking and guessing and believing, that you're walking a new vibration. You've shifted the frequency and your bloodline feels it. Understand versus overstand versus understand. Term, understand, logic. We did a show on that, but yeah, logical awareness, knowing facts, history, patterns. Overstand, critical insight, seeing the bigger picture, etc. Understand, deep embodiment, your intuition, energy, or inner chi, and life choices, etc. Signs you are understanding your growth and breaking the curse. You feel resistance, however, choose differently. You feel tempted to repeat the same toxic behavior. However, you pause for the cause. Round of a motherfucking applause. You respond to love where you once reacted in anger. You walk away from survival habits and step into activated conscious ones. Understanding happens when your default settings shift. Understanding happens when your default settings shift. Two, your body, spirit, and mind are aligned. That's the chakra alignment and etc. The light bulbs are going off. You feel peace in your spirit even when family doesn't quote unquote get you, end quote. Your body responds differently, less stress, more calm, more awareness, activated awareness. You start listening to your intuition and your ancestors more than outside noise. You become the cycle breaker in your family. You start parenting with love, not trauma. You shift your survival you shift from survival to strategy. You say quote unquote no more, end quote, to silence secrets and shame, and start having healing conversations. Your lifestyle begins to reflect your healing. You start building generational wealth, saving, investing, and creating something for the next generation. You take responsibility for your health, choices, and mindset. You choose international relationships, not just familiar ones, ain't it? You see yourself as a ancestor rewriting the future. You know your healing isn't just for you, it's for your lineage. You feel your ancestors walking with you and your future children walking towards you. You realize your bridge between what was and what can be. You stay in the understanding practice, daily reflection or journaling, purpose, track your emotional and spiritual growth, ancestral veneration, speak to them, listen to their wisdom, and honor them by choosing better. Affirmations and inner dialogue, rewrite the way you speak to yourself. Conscious or activated conscious community. Surround yourself with other cycle breakers. Consistent boundaries. Protect your peace and growth without guilt. Final understood truth. When you understand, you stop reacting from wounds and start responding from wisdom. You'll know you're breaking the curses, not just because your life changes, however, because your energy, your inner chi shifts, your children feel safer, and your legacy is reborn. All right, all right. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude for the latitude. Empress Stars say this is great. I knew we couldn't wait. She said this is great. I knew it couldn't wait. So yes, make sure you put your notifications on. Help us get to 500 on the channel. Help us get to 500 subscribers. Who You With Wednesday is coming up this week. Sacred Space coming up with the what is it again? You're gonna check out the book real quick. Hold on, y'all. Okay, Sacred Woman. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be reading from Sacred Woman. Well, Empress Star is gonna be reading from Sacred Woman and the notes she has as well, the freestyle notes from her experiences as well. So that's gonna be on Moon Day, on Sacred Space. So if you are someone that is a guest or a founder and or a person that wants to be a consistent host on the show, etc., make sure you reach out to Empress Star. She'll take you far no matter where you are. Like I said, Who You With Wednesday's coming up. Go check out our last stream on here. It was on here. It was the attack on the womb, right? Okay, so the attack on the womb or the destruction of the womb, etc. So make sure you go check that out. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you donate. Make sure you share. And guess what? Cosmic Mind UV.